Welcome to IAS Market Talk, your trusted source for timely ag market insights, brought to you by Innovative Ag Services. Each week, we break down the latest beef market trends impacting Northeast Iowa and Southwest Wisconsin, with expert updates tailored specifically for our IAS members. This week, you'll hear directly from Dave Rueber, IAS Beef Production Specialist, who brings decades of experience and deep knowledge of the cattle industry to these conversations. Dave has been providing market updates to producers for years, and now he's bringing those insights straight to you through this podcast. Tune in weekly for what you need to know straight from people you know. With that, here's Dave Rueber with the latest on what's happening in the cattle markets this week.
David Rueber, Beef Production Specialist for Innovative Ag Services, calling with a beef market commentary for June 24th. Just wanted to mention before we get into market talk, got some warm weather coming this weekend into next week. After this cool stretch of weather, these cattle, not really adapted to 90 plus degrees with some humidity and some moisture out there. So water. You got to have, as much available water consumption as possible. Some extra water tanks are great. If cattle have limited or no shade, keep an eye on them. That open mouth breathing, you need to get sprinklers going and keeping cattle cool and alive that way. So, common sense stuff. Just keep an eye on the cattle. Don't sprinkle right by your water either, because you don't want the cattle congregating right by the water source so that you can't get cattle getting up to the water tank. So, do what you can, bed those cattle. That kind of seems to help as well. And then ration-wise, a lot of times we add an extra pound of hay to that diet because, they're going to be on and off feed a little bit with some of this warm weather, so a little less energy in the diet is a good thing too. Feeding a tick earlier in the morning or if you're feeding in the afternoon kind of works out nice too, that heated digestion. It's nice if it can come in the evening instead of the hot part of the day. Markets last week were kind of a little bit interesting. They really didn't get going until late Friday afternoon. There's a few cattle sold at 258, and then by 5 o'clock Friday, it was kind of up to 260, and that's where a chunk of the trade was at, but you had to be patient last week. It certainly was the end of the deal. There's actually even some cattle sold on Saturday. Now, some of those cattle got delivered within 48 hours, so something to keep an eye on there. This week feels like it's at the worst. It's going to be steady with a pretty good shot at being a little stronger again this week. We got meat prices 408 to 410. Live prices look like they're going to be in the low 260s. So going to keep an eye out on that deal, but looking like it's going to be pretty good. Like I said, some of these big cattle in this hot weather, you're going to have to keep an eye on closely. 1,600-pound cattle and a 100-degree heat index is not a good combination. Feeder cattle prices have taken another leap up. Those 8-weight steers are kind of all into the 370s now. You'll see 6 weights, high 4s. 5 weights are 5-ish. Cost of gains, I'm still using around $1 for steers and $1.05, $1.06 for heifers. Wet feed, there's been some fire sales here and there. That corn market's had definitely some softness to it. There could be some cattle feed under $1, but just kind of play it on the safe side. That's kind of the number I'm using. Most of the break-evens on these cattle getting bought are kind of back up into the high 240s again, and they are not hedgeable. Those deferred futures have rallied some, but not much for hedgeability in this thing, but kind of been that way for a while, and it's been working. Closeouts have been rock solid. We're selling those cattle now that were bought back in November when they were bought a little cheaper, so some really good returns right now on some of these closeouts. Performance been okay. These big cattle can be tough on performance when you make them so big. Those feed efficiencies can kind of creep up a little bit on us. Demand's been good. World Cup, holidays, Father's Day, lots of good things going out there for demand, so something to keep an eye on there. So, yeah, good times. Just keep track of those big cattle, make sure everybody's good and safe. Once again, my name is David Rueber, Beef Production Specialist for Innovative Ag. Thank you.
That's it for this week's episode of IAS Market Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an update. And if you know a fellow producer who could benefit from this information, share this episode with them. For more updates and insights, visit innovativeag.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll catch you next time on IAS Market Talk.
Are you ready for a hands-on role with purpose? Join the facility operations team at Innovative Ag Services, where we value hard work, safety, and community. With locations across Northeast and Central Iowa and Southwest Wisconsin, we offer industry-leading benefits, on-the-job training, and a culture that supports your growth. From competitive pay to a uniform allowance, we invest in our team. Grow with IAS and discover your co-opportunity. Apply today at innovativeag.com.